So, the Cowboys announced Dak Prescott had a cleanup surgery on his non-throwing shoulder. But one topic of conversation in Indy with Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones was one of Dak's wideouts, Amari Cooper. So Cooper's under contract, but his $20 million contract becomes fully guaranteed if he's on the roster on March 20th. So cutting or trading Cooper could save the Cowboys $16 million. Now, Pearce, how would a potential cut or trade of Amari Cooper affect the Cowboys' odds or like Dak's fantasy outlook?
It's going to kill his fantasy outlook. You can't get rid of Cooper just to save some money. It would make sense if you could get rid of Cooper and there was someone else out there to get that was cheaper or equal caliber to Cooper's, but it's not there. You let him go, you run the risk of not replacing him at all, or maybe you replace him with an inferior player that's going to cost a lot. Look, Jamison Crowder is expecting $12 million. Christian Kirk is looking at a $12 million salary. So $20 million for Amari Cooper really isn't that bad of a deal. You know what you're going to get. Sure, his numbers were down a little bit last season, but some of that might have had to do with not having a running game. If you can get the running game fixed, that's their real concern. That's going to open up the receivers. That's going to help Dak's numbers. I think it's the idea like the grass is greener on the other side. You expect that you could upgrade, but there just really isn't a free agent upgrade out there. So even if you are overpaying, which you're not, you just stick with Cooper.
All right, Steve, do you agree? You just got to stick with Cooper here?
Well, the other thing is, too, is that, there's a couple other receivers on Dallas or that were on Dallas that are also going to be free agents. Michael Gallup is one of them. Noah Brown, not a big name, but he's going to be out there. Cedric Wilson, another one. So they're potentially losing a bunch of their receivers. They can't afford to also lose Cooper as well. Now, the Cowboys are one of those teams that is in cap space hell, kind of down there with the Saints. They don't have a lot of wiggle room really much at all. I mean, when the numbers are in red, usually that's bad news if you're trying to get anybody on the free agent market. So they really can't afford to make any moves to begin with. Now, if they do cut Cooper and save some of that money, sure, that does free up some. But, you really need to retain some of these guys because, like Pearce mentioned, that run game, when it wasn't when Ezekiel Elliott was on the field, wasn't exactly stellar, to say the least. So I think they got to try to retain Cooper here. He's a big part of this Dallas offense, even if the numbers didn't exactly equate to that this season.